Asamura-kun.
What are you doing, Step?
When I was searching for the next anime to watch, this specific anime had caught my attention for obvious reasons. Stepsister.
Yeah, boy.
I do not have step-siblings. I don't know anyone with step-siblings. Most of my knowledge about step-siblings comes from... So you can't blame me for being at least a bit curious about the contents of this specific anime. After all, the last step-sibling anime that I watched seems to only have reinforced my pre-existing beliefs. But what followed was quite different from what I was expecting. In fact, it can only be described as me being caught with my pants down. And no, it's not because it's a show about step-siblings. Gimai Seikatsu, or Days with My Stepsister, follows the story of Yuta Asamura and his sister Saki Ayase. The experiences from their parents' first marriage had deeply influenced the beliefs that Yuta and Saki had come to hold. On a surface level, both Yuta and Saki did not want to be involved with each other to an extent more than necessary. Interestingly enough, both Yuta and Saki are high school students who go to the same school, live under the same roof, and also spend most nights alone. If this isn't the perfect setup for a hentai plot, then I don't know what to call it. So you can imagine my surprise when I found that it was not one of those animes that is just secretly a hentai. Instead, it turned out to be an anime about two teenagers trying their best to adjust to their new family in their own ways possible. And by the end of the season, I was left with this sadness and a big gaping hole in my heart that I'm still trying to mend by shoving as much isekai as possible. From the beginning, the anime is quite clear on how Saki and Yuta view their relationship. They establish clear boundaries on how they want to interact going forward as step-siblings. And it makes sense. Going from complete strangers to now being step-siblings does not mean that you automatically start treating the other person as a family member. After all, you know nothing about the other person. If anything, living in the same house will make things more awkward for the people involved. And the anime highlights this fact with the simple things. Like Saki and Yuta being confused about how they want to address each other. Yuta trying to figure out his role as a brother and how he can help out his new stepsister. Even things like Saki needing to figure out the light combination after moving into a new house are subtle, yet entirely possible. It may not seem significant at first, but it emphasizes the simple challenges that come with the change in the environment. Now look, I don't want to make it sound like having pondered upon what it is like to have a step-sibling because of this anime has now elevated me into a higher being capable of solving world hunger, because that is not the case. In fact, chances are that you will find me enjoying the same brain-rot isekai animes that I often enjoy watching. But if an anime can hold my attention without having to constantly make things sexual for comic relief, then it genuinely gets me curious. Because now, I have questions that I want answered. Like, if they get into a relationship, how will their parents react? Would it be difficult for them to accept it? If Saki and Yuta end up sleeping with each other, was I just watching another step-sibling hint? Okay, maybe the last question wasn't as important, but you get the point. And that's what really got me to enjoy the anime. To see Saki and Yuta adapt to this new family dynamic. To see them slowly open up to each other as the season progresses. How even after establishing that they won't be involved with the other person's life, they still can't help but be involved to a certain degree. But I have a confession to make. When I said I watched the anime for step-siblings, I lied. Sure, that might have been the reason that got me curious, but the element that made me keep coming back was Saki's diary entries. I think what makes this specific sequence so impressive and impactful is the timing at which it happens. At this point in the anime, not a lot is known about Saki as an individual. Her few conversations with Yuta don't really reveal a lot about her other than the fact that she's a bit standoffish and tries not to impose on anyone. There are a few rumors going around about her, but nothing really confirms or denies such allegations. Saki is a complete mystery. And then she goes and does the very thing that the rumors claimed that she does. She tries to sell her body to Yuta. And that's when the first diary entry is revealed. The point of the diary entries is to serve as a recollection of the past few episodes, but it is through these diary entries that you get to meet the real Saki. What she feels, what she worries about, what she values. The parts of Saki that she keeps locked inside of her slowly come to the surface because of the diary entries. But it's not just the major moments that get highlighted, it's also the smaller details, like Saki's general observations about Yuta on a daily basis, or how she makes a special note about Yuta liking soy sauce with fried eggs. Through these diary entries, you see Saki's character grow as the anime progresses. You see her internal turmoil as she tries to deal with all the complex emotions that she is experiencing. And the way the anime presents the diary entry in a video diary format, combined with the music and Saki's narration, just elevates the overall experience. It felt good reading the diary entry in the light novel, but it felt amazing watching it play out in the anime. On top of all of that, the anime doesn't unnecessarily complicate the romance elements either. In a romance anime, I enjoy watching the relationship between the main characters bloom into something meaningful. I don't mind if the build-up is a bit slow as long as the journey is satisfying. What I dislike is when the story just stalls forever by introducing cliches like misunderstandings that take forever to resolve or the characters constantly downplaying their true emotions. But I get it. The reason for all the misunderstandings and conflicts is to enable the main ship of the series to form a deeper bond. But do we really need to drag out the unpleasant moments to create a singular, beautiful one? I mean, how long is too long? How much do I need to get edged before the anime realizes that I don't have the stamina to go on any longer? Think about it. How many romance animes have you watched where you just thought, wouldn't it be crazy if they just talked to each other about it instead of second guessing themselves? Gimai Seikatsu does exactly that. No unnecessary misunderstandings, no bullshit, just pure consensual yapping. Yes, by utilizing speech as a mode of communication, Yuta and Saki are able to successfully resolve their problems. By talking to each other, they understand each other better. Their relationship grows. You get to experience the good bits of the romance anime more than the unpleasant ones. Even simple things like the main character constantly doubting their own feelings is done as simply as And the one time where Saki and Yuta are unable to fully say what they really wanted to say, you have the side characters moving the plot forward. We literally have a sacrificial side character who confesses to Saki just so that she can finally realize her true feelings. With how fast the plot was moving towards the confession, I was honestly surprised if I was still watching a romance anime. Overall, I'm really glad that I was proven wrong about the initial assumption I had made about the anime, regarding it being just another step-sibling anime. Because with each passing moment, my desire to keep watching just grew stronger. There was just something beautiful about watching Saki and Yuta come to terms with their feelings as the season progressed. In fact, after watching the entire season, I finally understand what the anime was trying to tell me. In life, some challenges can't be resolved through conversation alone. During these moments, if you ever feel stuck, sometimes all it takes to get unstuck is a good step, bro.